I'm delighted to be here this evening to talk to you a little bit about some of the work that I've done curating exhibits at the National Museum of Natural History. It's not my primary function. I'm actually glad you mentioned the book that I wrote, because I'm employed to do research as a primary function. But from time to time, and fortunately over the past few years, sort of back to back, I've been able to work on 2 exhibits that are at the National Museum of Natural History. This is, of course, a photograph of the Sant Ocean Hall. I assume all of you have been there many, many times, well, at least once. It opened several years ago. It's really one of the flagship halls now at the National Museum of Natural History on the Mall. And it was built by design with that sort of black space up in the top there is the Focus Gallery, which is a temporary exhibit space. And I've been privileged to be able to work on 2 exhibits that, again, coincidentally, for no other reason than serendipity, have been in the exhibit space back to back. The first, I'm going to talk about both of these. The first one that was there is The Bright Beneath, which was artwork done by C.J. Huang. This installation was at the museum from September 3rd, 2011 to January 8th, 2012. I'm very glad I followed C.J. because you can see what fun I must have had working on this exhibit. I mean, he was just a delightful person to work with, and I'm glad he's here. And we can talk a little bit about the exhibit more afterwards. And then the other exhibit I'm going to talk about is X-Ray Vision Fish Inside Out, which as soon as they cleared out CJ's exhibit, it was put in the Focus Gallery, opened February 4th. It will be there through August 5th, 2012. It features the X-rays and photographs of fishes by Sandra Reardon, who's my colleague here tonight as well. I'm again very delighted to be able to have collaborated with these 2 extraordinary artists. I keep saying I was privileged and honored to work on these exhibits, and that's because I was able to convey through these, or the exhibits conveyed, this importance of the collections, natural history collections, to science and as well as to art. This is a photograph of a collection of the Division of Fishes at the National Museum, the collection on the Mall. It was on the Mall up until about 2007, and then it moved to a storage facility in Suitland, Maryland. These are all jars of preserved fish. You'll see a few of them up close in a second. The facility in Suitland, Maryland is a state-of-the-art facility for storage of specimens, and we are really privileged at the Smithsonian to have this new building. It was opened in 2007 at the cost of about $45 million, and it houses all of our alcohol preserved material. And you can see that from the going from the old storage facility in this what we used to call prison shelving to the new compactors. It's obviously people paid a lot of attention and spent a lot of money to preserve this collection. Well, what's in it? Sorry, I'm trying to go forward, but. And there we go. Okay. All right. So this is a photograph of the what we call the fish library. This would be just a photograph of 2 sets of shelves at the museum. We have between 4 and 5 million preserved fish specimens in over 1/2 million jars and counting. We add specimens to the collection at the rate of about 10,000 a year. The Smithsonian's fish collection is the largest in the world, and it's also the most diverse. We have about 80% of all known fish species are represented by at least 1 specimen. That means we have unique specimens of about 24,000 species. But I say it's a fish library. I mean that almost literally. People borrow specimens. We accession collections. They're cataloged and so on. And it's basically a very active research facility. So the Bright Beneath, what did that have to do with collections? You saw a little bit of CJ's work in the museum. CJ came to us as he was mentioned as a SARF Fellow. This is the Smithsonian Artist Research Fellowship Program. He was one of the first fellows who came in 2007. Again, this was a new program, and I know that some people before have spoken here at this event talking about the SARF program, and it was really, we have a lot of fellowships at the Smithsonian, postdoctoral fellowships, predoctoral fellowships, and so on, but it was felt that a large segment of the population, that is artists, were not getting fellowship opportunities, and so this new program was instituted. It is by nomination only, and CJ was nominated and chosen as one of the first fellows. Now, when I first got an email from CJ, he said he was an artist interested in bioluminescence, and could he come and work on our specimens? And I must say, to be frank, my first reaction was no. These are valuable specimens. The collection is irreplaceable. I mentioned it has 4 to 5 million specimens worldwide. There's no way we could replace that collection if it was destroyed. And so we're very cautious about who gets to examine our specimens. Obviously, CJ won me over. And he won me over in 2 ways. One, he came and he spoke about specimens he had seen on videotapes and so on. And he spoke about them with very respectful language. He called them beautiful, mysterious. He really wanted to touch them, but I knew he wasn't going to damage them. And then second, he showed me that the videotape of his replacing the extension on the light sensor, and I thought that was one of the most creative things I ever saw. Most of us, if we wanted to turn the light off and on, we'd buy a switch. You saw what CJ did, something completely different. So he was in. What he wanted to look at, some of the specimens were these deep sea anglerfishes, which are really quite remarkable. This is a big female anglerfish, and it's, I'm going to focus in on the extension here. This is the first dorsal fin spine, which is elongate in these fishes, and it is a bulb at the tip of the spine, and that's the place in which these bioluminescent bacteria reside and light up for signaling. Now, you've seen these before. I know you have, and you saw them in Finding Nemo. In Finding Nemo, they said, don't go near the light. And when they said, don't go near the light, so here's Nemo and Dory being cautioned about going near the light. And here's the light in the anglerfish. But they've really played fast and loose with some of the anatomy on the anglerfish. One is that it's got really huge eyes. You can see here that the eyes are, these are the eyes in the anglerfish are really tiny, but and the eyes here are huge. But the mouth is pretty good. It's perhaps a little exaggerated, but they got that right. But one of the things they got wrong was that it's too bright in here. Where's all this light coming from? And CJ, in fact, got it right. Now, the exhibit, this was meant to be say in the deep sea and below 1,000 meters, there's absolutely no light. No light penetrates below 1,000 meters, so it's pitch black. And all you'd see if you saw an anglerfish at depth would be a little light. That's all you'd see. And so this is CJ's representation of an anglerfish, and at 1,000 meters, it's more biologically meaningful than is this.